Hello and welcome to this webinar recording. Webinar is called The Death of the B&B. Are you on life support? You know, right now our industry is in crisis. There's the economy, there's the competition, there's the discounting, there's the online travel agencies, there's TripAdvisor, and now Amazon are at it. What's next, I wonder? But first, a little bit of housekeeping. Please turn off your Facebook, your emails, and all distractions for the next 40 minutes. I want you to be totally focused on what I'm sharing with you here. It's important. Have a pen and paper ready to take notes because you're going to want to write some stuff down to review later. So have a pen and paper ready to take some notes. So who am I? Well, my name's Yvonne Halling and I run a bed and breakfast business, just like you. So why should you listen to me then? Well, I built my own bed and breakfast in France from almost nothing to making the equivalent of over 130,000 US dollars a year with just 4 rooms in less than 2 years. I use no online travel agencies, directories, or third-party marketing companies. I built my whole business on relationships and what I call the expert or trusted advisor model, and I'll explain a bit more about that as we go along. So here's some more about me. I'm the author of Bed and Breakfast Magic, How to Transform Your B&B into a Booming 6-Figure Business, which is available on Amazon, and you can go and check it out there. I hope you've already bought it. I'm an award-winning online marketer. I'm a speaker. I'm a coach and mentor to other bed and breakfast owners, small hospitality businesses, guest houses and inns around the world, just like you. And lastly, I don't have any special powers. Just in case you're thinking that I do, I don't. So I recently did a survey and you may have taken part in it, and I want to share with you the results. 79% of people who took the survey are focused mostly on getting more guests, and only 14% are focused on selling more to existing guests, which is in fact the easiest money. 68% are overwhelmed or don't know what to do on a daily basis in their business to make it work. Another 68% are either not growing their business at all or growing it just a little bit. 68% are either procrastinating, distracted, or not doing what they know they need to do because they're not accountable to anyone. It's just human nature. And 74% don't have a sales and marketing system to consistently attract guests and invite them to buy more, and most are using online travel agencies. And here's the worrying thing. 83% are concerned in some way about money. So please, stay with me, because I'm going to show you how we got to this place, how we got here, and the opportunities that now exist for you should you choose to take advantage of them. Plus, after I've walked you through this presentation, if you feel you need help, you will have the opportunity to get that help at the end. But I want to just reassure you, there's nothing to buy here. I'm not going to ask you to take out your credit card or your debit card. This is a presentation that I hope will help you. And if you feel that you need help by the time we get to the end, you'll have the opportunity to get that help. So here's what we're going to cover. The good old days. How did we get here? What are the problems we face? And the enormous opportunity for you. So let's get started. So the good old days. Do you remember back in the good old days before the internet? I started my business 14 years ago and there was no internet then. We made our own decisions. We had the choice of who we were going to take in our bed and breakfast business, and we felt in control of our businesses to some degree. So what happened? Well, the internet came and I personally think the internet is a good thing. It's a marvellous, marvellous thing. And then online booking came, which was marvellous too, because people can book 24/7 from around the world without you having to answer the phone. And then the online review sites, such as the big giant TripAdvisor, wasn't it fantastic when it started? Because it meant that people who had written a review that review could be seen by other people before they'd made the buying decision. Whereas before, the only people who saw the reviews were those who were already at your B&B, those who had made the buying decision already. But with TripAdvisor, we were able to publicize our wonderful reviews for people who had not yet made the decision to buy to see them. And it was really reassuring, wasn't it, when it was a review site. And then along came the online travel agents, and that's when things started to get a little bit tricky. Because now you've got to be in their club, what I call the kind of triad, the TripAdvisor online travel agents sort of booking.com triad that's kind of taken control of the whole industry right now. And this is what I mean by us being in crisis. Because if you're not in that club, it's very difficult. Well, it would appear to be very difficult. But I'm going to show you how it isn't actually. So stick with me. So the downward spiral, we found that we'd lost control of our businesses because we were no longer in charge of who came to our B&B. And that left us feeling like we'd lost our power, and we were now paying commissions to online travel agencies to bring us guests. And a sort of dependency on them started to infiltrate. And then we find ourselves making less money because we're paying for these guests now. And that led to feelings of helplessness. And I know I've spoken to lots of bed and breakfast owners. And there is a kind of feeling of helplessness and disempowerment around them right now because of what's been happening over the last few years. And it really only has been during the last 4 to 5 years that this has really taken hold. So why? Why has this happened? Well, I'm going to share with you now something that you may not have heard me ever talk about before, but what I believe is a fundamental piece of the puzzle as to how we found ourselves in this kind of codependent situation with the internet, online travel agencies, and TripAdvisor. So the concept is this: outside circumstances versus inner thoughts. So let's take a look. Inside equals outside. Our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, underlying beliefs about ourselves, form our experience, or what we call our life. So your beliefs come from your childhood, and they were handed down to you before you even were conscious of it by your parents, by your teachers, and maybe other authority figures in your life, in your church or somewhere else, about how the world is. And because we were young and we didn't really understand, we took on those beliefs. And those beliefs are subconscious. We don't know what they are, but they reveal themselves in the feelings that we have and the thoughts that we have, and then the words that we speak. And then that gives us an experience called our life. And I don't know if you've ever noticed that when there's a kind of a car accident, road traffic accident on TV, and there's a TV reporter there reporting on the scene, and maybe she asks a couple of people what happened. And person A says, well, this happened and that happened, and it looked like this and it looked like that. And person A thinks that's the truth. And then she turns to person B and she said, well, what happened here, according to you? And person B gives a totally different account of the same event. How can that be? Well, because those two people have completely different belief systems, and they can only see and experience what their beliefs will allow. And I know that might be a bit complicated to actually take on board, and maybe you just don't believe me. And that's fine, you don't have to believe me. But this is a scientifically proven fact now that's why people have different experiences of life. One person can say life's terrible, and the next person can say life is beautiful. And it's all based on their internal subconscious belief systems. So let's take a look at this a bit further, a bit deeper. So Here's what somebody would say, and as a fact. Everyone's looking for a deal. So the thought that goes behind that is I have to discount my prices. And the feeling is the fear of losing business and the fear of losing money. And the belief system that underpins these feelings and thoughts is I'll have no guests, I'll go out of business, and I'll lose everything. So that is a fundamental belief about yourself, not really about what the situation is. But it's driving the feelings and the thoughts and therefore the words that you speak because of this underlying belief. Let's take another example. I don't know how to do marketing. The thought is it's not my thing. The feeling is I feel stupid because I feel that I ought to know how to do it. Because after all, I'm in business. I ought to know this. And the underlying belief is that someone else needs to do it for me. I'm incapable. I'm helpless. I can't learn it. It's a fundamental lack of self-trust. Let's take another one. I feel overwhelmed. This is very common around people in running small businesses, not just in the B&B world, but it's very common. I feel overwhelmed, and it's a kind of statement that kind of lets you off the hook somehow, and I'll show you how this one works. I don't know what to do is the thought. And the feeling is, poor me, I'm a victim. I can't do it. And the belief is I'm safer if I stay where I am. So that means you don't have to take any action. So the more you tell yourself, I feel overwhelmed and I don't know what to do, then your belief system grows stronger and stronger, keeps you where you are, believing that you're safer if you stay where you are, when in fact, you're actually not growing at all. In fact, your business is not moving forward. Let's take another one. Fact. I'm worried about money. Well, worrying is like an international epidemic, global epidemic, and it actually produces no good whatsoever. But a lot of people use it. The thought is I have to take any guest at any cost. Then the feeling is anxiety and frustration. And the subconscious belief is it's better to fill my beds with anyone rather than have them empty. And people do say this, and they do believe this. So when you're thinking those thoughts, having those feelings underpinned by those beliefs, you're actually quite vulnerable to online travel agencies. They are predatory. To other directories and their promises. And you're at the mercy of the economy, whatever's going on in the economy. You are actually operating as a price-driven commodity. And you're feeling disempowered and dependent. And the business model that corresponds with that way of thinking is this. It's a dysfunctional business model, and you can see here that the entire business is reliant on online travel agencies and other people's directories or other people's businesses, and your website is almost entirely redundant. In fact, on one of the forums recently, there was someone questioning whether it was necessary to have your own website anymore, because the online travel agencies have actually swallowed up everybody. It doesn't have to be like this. And you can see here that the CRM system, or the customer relationship management system, which allows you to offer more products and services and keep in touch with your guests, is completely out of the picture here. Now, I know that you're delivering a great experience, but is that experience that you're delivering exhausting you? It could be. I don't know. I'd just like to put that out there to you. And you get some good reviews and some bad reviews as well. And you're not able to generate more leads, you don't blog regularly enough or strategically enough, and you're not sure what to do on social media, so all of that is wasted energy and does not drive more bookings to your website because you've completely excluded your own business. You are actually part of the OTA's business now. This is totally dysfunctional, and no wonder, if you're operating this model, that you're feeling disempowered. There's no judgment here. It's not right or wrong. I just want to explain to you how this has happened. And this is really what it's starting to look like now. All these inns, bed and breakfasts, small hotels, they're like minnows in a sea of sharks. And the online travel agencies and TripAdvisor and all of those people are the sharks with big teeth. And they're able to swallow us up, making all the decisions and taking a lot of commission, leaving us totally dependent on them. Are you starting to recognize this model now? This is what's happening, and they're getting bigger and bigger, and we're getting smaller and smaller. This is the crisis that we're in. Here's the horrible truth. When you're using that business model, you don't really have a business. You're just a supplier of beds to the online travel agencies. You're commodity. You're just, people are choosing you based on price. You're just a commodity. You don't stand out. Your guests are not even your guests. I was having a chat with a client recently, and she'd had an email from one of the OTAs, and the language they were using was our shared guests. They're not even your guests, and particularly if you don't have a CRM system so that you can keep in touch with them, they're really here today and gone tomorrow, because you're only really a supplier of beds to the OTAs, or as someone said to me recently, have they turned into mattress companies? And you are at the mercy of them. You are not sustainable because they are calling all the shots. And here's the biggie. Guests are not being served with that model. It's turned into a bit of a factory, actually. And the B&B small hotels, inns around the world, are just kind of cogs in their wheel. So I want to just tell you I want to show you now how to change this. The magic happens inside us first. What got you to where you are now, which I'm calling point A, will not get you to point B, which is where you want to go with your business, whatever that is, whatever your goal is, it doesn't matter. Because if it could get you to point B, you'd already be at point B. Because those thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that you hold have got you to point A. So we need to change those to get you to point B, which is where you want to go. And nothing changes unless you change something inside yourself. And it begins with your thoughts. Back in the day, when I was making around 10,000 euros a year, which is my currency because I'm in Europe, and that's the equivalent of about 13,000 US dollars, my thought processes went something like this. You might recognize them. Someone's asking for a discount. Thought, I wonder how low I need to go to get this sale. Feeling, anxiety, because I don't know what I'm doing. Belief, there's no more money coming, so I have to get this guest at whatever cost to me. That was my belief system. That's how I was feeling, and that was my thought. And the result of that thinking? Resentment on my part, because I've discounted my price yet again. Betrayal of myself and the value of my B&B, and low energy because of my fear. People subconsciously feel that fear, which of course resulted in poor customer service for my guests, no repeat business, and more people asking for discounts, because that's how it works. Next thing. I have to be around all the time. I hear this a lot from bed and breakfast owners. They can't take time off. Thought, my guests are special and they need me all the time. I have to be around. Feeling, fear of not being liked, and this is a big one, I know. And the belief is I'm selfish if I put my own needs first, and I don't deserve to have a life outside of my business. And the results of that thinking, resentment again on my part because I've let myself down by having no boundaries. A sense of frustration, which of course guests subconsciously feel, like the low energy. Becoming tired and irritable over time. An eventual burnout. Here's another one. Guests don't want me to sell to them. Thought, they won't like me if I sell to them. Feeling inadequate and at the same time slightly superior, because after all, selling is sleazy anyway, and it's beneath me. And the results of that thinking? Well, sadly, afraid to offer guests something else in case they don't like it or me, or it's not good enough. staying small and preventing expansion, feeling stuck and trapped, poor results in business and in life in general, actually. So what changed? Well, for me, like I said to you a moment ago, thoughts, feelings, and beliefs have to change first. So, for example, here's how I turn things around. Thought, I'm taking care of myself first. Feeling of empowerment because I'm putting myself first. My belief now is that I'm valuable and I deserve to have a life of my own. Another example, my private time is important for me and my guests. I'm feeling rested and energized because I take regular time off for myself. And my belief is I deserve it. I deserve to take time out. And the final example, thought, what else can I offer my guests? How can I be of service? A feeling of in service to others. And my belief system is selling, is helping others to get what they want. It's not sleazy, it's a service. And in fact, when you're not selling, it's actually doing them a disservice. So the results of that thinking were entirely different. Business boomed to over 100,000 euros a year, which is the equivalent of 130,000 US dollars a year. Greater self-esteem on my part, and much more self-confidence in myself, and an expanded skill set which I can use anywhere. Happy guests who come back again and again, write great reviews and refer their friends and family. And a thriving business, which in turn allowed me to develop this business model and help others. This is my own business model that I use in my B&B with all of my private clients. It starts with your website. Your website is your center of your universe for your business, where guests make a reservation, make a booking, phone you up, or email you directly from your website. They pop into your CRM system after they've booked a room, and you offer them more products and services, and you keep in touch with them like they were family because they are so precious to you. You deliver a great experience and guests are happy because you're rested, energized, you've got great boundaries in place, you're taking regular time off. And of course they're happy, so they write great reviews for you on TripAdvisor or wherever you like your reviews to be displayed, and you use those reviews on blogs, you share on social media, and you generate more leads through a lead generation system, which in turn brings more guests to your website who make more bookings, and the whole thing just goes round and round in this simple business model into a thriving, sustainable, successful small hospitality business. And this works. This isn't theory. This is what I've done. This is what I've done myself, and it's what I do with all of my private one-to-one clients, and it works. And this is a much more empowering model than that dysfunctional one I showed you earlier. I think you'll agree with that. So what does it mean? My business belongs to me. I don't rely on anyone else to bring me guests. My guests are my guests, and I take care of them very, very well, like no one else does. I have a valuable business asset that I can sell if I want to. I'm in control. So what's happened? What's happened to your vision of working for yourself, getting out of the rat race, and having the freedom and lifestyle you dreamed of? Have you traded your dream to become a mattress company? Is it time to ask yourself some questions? Why did I start this business? What is it that I want to accomplish? What's not working for me right now? What do I believe is preventing me from getting what I want? Why do I think I have that problem? And what's going to happen if I don't resolve it? Just take a moment now to just write down the answers to those questions. Just quickly, whatever comes into your mind. Don't overthink. Don't overanalyze. Just put the first thing that comes into your head down on paper. Why did I start this business? What is it that I want to accomplish? What's not working for me right now? What do I believe is preventing me from getting what I want? And why do I think I have that problem? And what's going to happen if I don't resolve it? These are important questions to ask yourself. So here's the opportunity for you. In a sea of mediocrity, it's not difficult to stand out. Your competitors are mediocre, and they are all doing this: discounting their prices to get guests at any cost, working themselves probably to death. They have become a commodity based on price alone. They have become mattress companies. They do not have a customer relationship management system to really take care of their guests. They are afraid of selling, so are not meeting their guests' needs. They're relying on online travel agencies for the most part to bring them guests. They are constantly worried about money. They're anxious and frustrated, and they're not doing the things they know they need to do to move forwards. They have no idea what to do even to move forwards. They have no system in place to attract more guests, and they are working the dysfunctional business model I showed you earlier. They have become mattress suppliers. They are habitually thinking negative and fear-based thoughts which guests are subconsciously picking up on. And they're not taking responsibility, and they're playing small. Can you see the enormous opportunity for you? It's exciting, isn't it? So where do you start? I have a 5-step magic plan for you right now, plus my 10 top tips. So pay attention. Take notes if you want to. 5-step magic plan. Step 1. Become the beacon of hope for your area. Claim your place. No one else is doing it. Research what people are looking for when they come to your area and be the answer to their prayers. Start promoting your area instead of promoting yourself. Become the expert, the trusted advisor on your local area, the one that everyone looks to. And come from a giving energy rather than a what can I get energy. Step 2. Upgrade your website with the words they use and make it easy for them to find their way to the booking page. Stop talking about you and start inspiring your visitors with what's possible for them with you. Make it easy for them to choose you because you stand out. Step 3. Cure disposable guest syndrome. What's that? Well, that's when guests come. You don't have a customer relationship management system. You're not keeping in touch with them regularly. You don't have a proper database on a compliant platform. And so it's like guests come, guests go, next. You're just looking for the new guest all the time. So stop doing that, because your existing guests are where the money is, the real money. Start building long-term relationships with them. Focus on increasing customer spend by offering more products and services before they arrive and during their visit. Get really good at selling. Help your guests to get what they want. No one else is doing this. Step 4. Focus on increasing your personal network rather than trying to sell rooms. The bigger your network, the safer you'll be. And I have a challenge for you in a little while. Stop discounting. Stop right now. And devaluing yourself and your B&B. It's a downward spiral and it leads nowhere. Find people online you can help. Connect with leaders and become one of them yourself. The world is crying out for you to step up as a leader. And step 5, use technology to automate the sales process and the upsell process and the asking for referral process. So you're not relying on human labor here. Technology can do it for you. Get some help in your B&B if you haven't already, and make a decision to really focus on your business instead of being in it all the time. Focus on marketing. And just another word about being on your business instead of in it. If you haven't read Michael Gerber's excellent book, The E-Myth, I highly encourage you to read it. It's a beautiful story about a woman, a girl, who decides to open a bakery, and it's massively appropriate for us. It's all about being focused on your business instead of being in it all the time. And then focus on the marketing. So here's my 10 tips for you. Apart from the 5-step magic plan that I've just given you, I've got 10 tips for you. Begin to catch yourself when you think badly of yourself. Don't judge yourself, don't criticize, just notice. Awareness is the first step to change. And then when you're aware of those thoughts and the words that you speak, start changing them around into something more empowering for you. Start speaking about abundance and increase and prosperity rather than speaking about lack and complaining and emitting that fear-based energy. Put some boundaries in place so you get some time off for yourself every single day. This is so, so important. Book a vacation, I dare you, and close during the low season. Why not? You deserve it. You work hard. And make a decision that you'll reach that goal this year. Whatever that goal is for you, make a decision that you're just going to reach it this year. And do whatever it takes. Reach out and, here's my challenge for you. Reach out and add at least another 500 people to your website within the next 30 days. I challenge you to do this. Reach out and do that. Get in touch with your past guests and start rebuilding that relationship with them. They'll be glad to hear from you, I promise you. Ask your past guests to help you out and take a quick survey to find out what they want. Develop something that they would buy from you. They will help you to develop the products that they want. And put a real sales and marketing system in place for your own business. And here's the last thing. Get some help. Now, I don't care whether you work with me or you work with somebody else, but here's the truth. You just can't do it on your own. We're all human here. When we're not accountable, we just don't do it. You don't know what you don't know. You can't see the blind spots. We're all the same in this. You need somebody from outside of your business to spot what it is you're doing to create the results you're getting and what you need to be doing to create the result that you want to be getting. And you need accountability, otherwise you won't do it. I mentioned it just now. You just won't do it. I won't do it. You won't do it. Unless you're extremely self-motivated, in which case I don't think you've got any need for anything I'm sharing here. But accountability is everything. So here's my invitation to you. Work with me to change your life. I promise you it will change your life. We'll implement your new tailor-made business model together. You'll gain newfound confidence in yourself and your ability to run a successful business, even if you've never done it before. Even if you're a little worried about money, your network is everything. Your reputation is everything. Your integrity is everything. And your leadership is everything. Stop hiding and being anonymous. Stop being the best kept secret. It's only going to get worse. I'm sorry to tell you this, but it is. The OTAs are taking over. They're swallowing up the industry, piece by piece. Amazon have started offering hospitality deals now. They're looking for people who can provide them, and that's you and me, if we say yes, if we allow them to. More and more people are giving up and becoming a supplier of mattresses. How long before the independent B&B lifestyle you dreamed of is gone forever and your B&B is dead? If you feel like you need help, book a confidential one-to-one call with me, and here's the link. It's a short link. And let's just talk. It's completely free. There's no obligation at all. I love to talk with other bed and breakfast and small hospitality business owners. So let's just talk and see what we can cook up together. Book a confidential one-to-one call with me using this short link here. And I'm looking forward to getting to know you, to meeting you, getting to know you, and to assisting you on your journey. It's been an absolute pleasure to share this time with you today. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for your participation as well. Good luck with everything. Thank you.